An episode of Stacker News Live. I'm across the country. Wait, across the country? Maybe 2 hours away by plane with my best friend Keyan back at Pleb Lab. How's it going, Keyan?
That's right. I'm in Pub Lab. It's very empty here because you guys are all in Nashville,
No, are you sure it's really
starting a country music band.
it's that bad?
No, yeah, it's pretty dead. I mean, we had Tony in here yesterday, Tony Giorgio, and who else was here? There are a few other characters here, but yeah, most of the crew is out with you.
Oh
You took them
man.
all.
It's interesting too because like PBS, I hear you're getting a lot of people coming tonight. This is what I'm being told.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Logan's in charge of that after he nearly died last week. He's a new man now.
No, he's fine.
Yeah. So Austin versus Nashville. How does it measure up?
I think definitely like Nashville has a I keep telling everybody here, but they don't want to accept it. But it just reminds like it's a place where you have like Bitcoin heavy hitter businesses here. Like, if,
Mm.
yeah, like you have like the big companies rolling through here, the heavy hitters rolling through here. It kind of feels like that, which is great because it's kind of what the Commons has as well too. But
Yeah.
I think as far as like developers and stuff, I still think that's like, Pleb Lab in Austin, 100%. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It feels like a little bit to me like Nashville is kind of like it's like a Bitcoin resort for
No,
all for like
it's
all the companies that are in Austin. It's like the
oh,
Hamptons. It's like the Hamptons of Austin. You know what I
I
mean?
could see that. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
2 hour plane ride. I could definitely see that. It's nice. It's really nice to where you get really comfortable working here. But it's yeah, it's I guess I'm not used to this level of niceness. I think is what it is.
I
But
see. It's like a little too posh.
no, it's great. It's just that the yeah, it's just yeah, I mean it's beautiful. It's just the I don't know how to describe it. It has a good vibe to it. We had a beefsteak last night. That went really well. We had a panel on
Is that your
Thursday.
first beefsteak?
Second.
Okay.
But yeah, we saw a
Well,
lot
I
of our
didn't
friends
realize you were a
here.
heavy hitter like that, doing all these beefsteaks,
No,
dude.
this is
These are
not
for
this is not it.
Bitcoin moguls.
No, yeah, right. No, no, we saw Tidwell was here, Casey was here, a lot of people that we know were here. So
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Uh I don't there we ran out of cold brew here. That's what I'm mostly upset about. We don't we don't have any cold brew. I'm now having to drink hot coffee that was like left over from yesterday. That's where I'm at right now.
poor
So
Keon.
missing you guys.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow morning. Actually, I'll be there for
Okay.
the yeah Bitcoin script. We're doing that Bitcoin script lab. So.
Yeah, so is it Brill and Brill Zatan and Topher.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to show you the fountain booth. Um, yeah, we have more to comment on that.
All right, cool.
Let's jump
Let's
into
get
the
into
top five stories.
the top stories this week. I didn't have much time to like do a thorough review of everything, so forgive me if I'm sparse on the details. I'll probably have a little more to say in the newsletter tomorrow. But top story of the week was SpiralBTC. So this is like a private block explorer, and the comment thread is pretty good. The founder came in and answered a bunch of questions. Ridgedale had a bunch of questions for him. He's pretty good at I follow him on Twitter, and he'll actually read the papers and stuff. He like really dives pretty deep. But the founder, one of the founders at least, came in and kind of discussed it. So the thread is pretty good if you want to kind of get a grip on what they're doing. It's a very sparse app, but basically what it allows you to do is to explore your addresses in their kind of block explorer without leaking anything to them, because they use some fancy cryptography. Like here, I took a random address that I found on mempool space and plugged it in, and they kind of gave me data on it, and presumably, if you believe their claims about their encryption scheme, which it seems like it's credible, that they have no information. They didn't even know that I'm investigating this address, despite them retrieving information about it and showing it to me. So pretty cool. Very sparse right now, and I guess it's just as like a kind of a proof of concept or a demo of what it's going to be capable of. But kind of exciting. In particular, like the reason why a lot of us run our own mempool .space at home is because we want the privacy of that. We don't want our IP address to be linked with our Bitcoin address or anything like that. And this would allow you to not have to host it at home, but still get the benefit of being able to kind of explore your address. You get all the same privacy. So yeah, pretty cool. Here's the paper. They use homomorphic encryption, which I forget what that is. I'm fairly competent at like applied cryptography, but it's been a long time since I've really messed around with any cryptography at all. So yeah, I would check out the paper, check out the thread mostly. It's a really good thread. I always love it when the founders come in and like discuss their projects.
Yeah.
But pretty exciting. I think they were trying to do they like built this encryption scheme, and then they're trying to figure out how to use it. And I think I saw on Twitter, I think they had tried to use it in some other blockchain project, and then found that it might be really interesting to create a Bitcoin block explorer with it, and ended up doing that.
Yeah, I always think, I feel like I forget who said it, but I feel like all these other blockchains are just really good test beds for a lot of the Bitcoin and Lightning stuff, right?
Yeah, why not? Break their chains. Use them to test as like reg test, and then come over to the real chain.
I think so. I think when Super was making Enigma, he was asking me like what I thought about it, and I was like, well, I remember there was a poo-poo coin project based on this, and it was called Status, I think it was. It was like similar, but they had a token involved, and so I showed him, and he was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." But it was, yeah. So I think it's because they had.
Have you guys been talking about the merge out there?
Oh, what do you mean here? No, just jokingly.
Okay.
Are you guys? Is that all y'all talking about in Austin? Is the merge?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it similarly comes up as a joke a bit.
Wait,
we had a little bit of a
BitDevs
conversation around it. I didn't even go to BitDevs last night.
Why?
I just needed to like decompress. I needed to chill.
Wait, did you go to Lit Devs on Wednesday?
I went to Lit Devs.
Oh, that's why, because you went to, yeah.
Yeah, I hit my socialization quota for the week with Lit Devs, so I needed a break.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to play out if you had Lit Devs and then Bit Devs back to back in the same week. But
yeah, for me too much. But I also have like a very low tolerance for like lots of eventy things. It's not really my style. But all right, next story. BitcoinFax.net. This is pretty cool. This is also shared by the founder, which again, I really like that. It's pretty straightforward, but basically you put in a fax number. I don't know anyone with a fax number. I guess I could send. I kind of want to go. I bet like Western Union has a bunch of fax machines. I'd love to just send them all the Bitcoin.
So when I saw that, dude, I used to do this all the time in IT. So what you do is you basically get like Spectrum or whoever you have. They'll give you a number, and it's not real, right? But then you take that number to like eFax or somewhere else, and then it basically just sends you send a fax, but it just sends you a PDF to your email. Like that's what faxes are these days.
Okay.
Like for lawyers and for probably not for like the courthouses and stuff, but like for lawyers and how they're set up, they're all. I mean, they have fax machines, but realistically, like how it's set up is just e-fax, straight to PDF, straight to your email, one go.
Wow. Okay, so they're not even using
The
fax
only people that
machines
are
anymore.
using it are like on the court system side. So like all the public, you know, the cities or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
how it
weird.
was
It's
in
like a weird
Austin.
legacy. It's like a weird legacy layer. Like
But
just like
it's a needed legacy because that's how they're all running. Like the courts are running like that. So you have to have that as a lawyer in your I guess stack.
yeah.
So I would
Yeah,
run into
no,
this
makes
problem all the
sense.
time, and that's how we would solve it.
It's fun. But yeah, the service allows you to send a PDF as a fax to a number, which I guess just gets turned into another PDF somewhere.
Yes,
but
it does.
like,
That's
but
what
but
when I saw this, I was like, "This is pointless," but it's so amazing, though. It's so unique.
yeah, but so you can you can upload a PDF. You have a fax number, you upload a PDF, and then you can pay with Bitcoin or Lightning. Apparently, this has been out for like a really long time. Simon, the founder, said that he wrote it for it didn't have Lightning Network on it before, and now he added Lightning to it.
Yeah. I wonder what he's using on the back end. I bet you he's using like something like eFax or something, one of the other ones. I wouldn't be surprised. All he's doing is just like forwarding it.
Yeah,
Because you could do that too. You could turn a like a PDF to an actual fax machine through like one of these services. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, what I really like about it is how this is like kind of exactly, this is like another great example of what Bitcoin and Lightning excel at, which is I don't have to create an account or anything
yeah.
here. I just need to send this fax. I don't want to go down to like FedEx or whatever to send this fax. I'm just gonna pay whatever the SAT amount is, and I'm gonna get my fax sent without having to create an account or go anywhere or anything. It's like Lightning and Bitcoin really shine in this context.
Yeah, this should be an impervious. Like whenever they release their thing, this should be a part of their little icon set on the left side. Like, oh, Bitcoin Fax, click it.
Yeah, they should pivot to just doing Bitcoin faxes. Although I haven't used their browser yet. Have you used Impervious's browser yet?
Just what Tony's shown me, like personally, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about what they're doing. Yeah, but cool project. Another great example of like kind of a transactional Bitcoin Lightning product that you don't lose privacy during to make a payment to, and it's very low commitment. Next top story is Tony Giorgio's AMA.
This was the best AMA you've ever had on Stacker News.
I think
just
it's
like
because
entertainment wise.
Yeah, because I think it's because all of the all of Tony's friends showed up and asked him questions. It was pretty fun. Like Ben says here, what is it like to be named after a pizza company? And then Tony shares. He says better than being the face of the Bitcoin company .gay, which is apparently a domain that Tony bought that he just redirects to Ben the Carmen's Twitter profile. It's pretty hilarious.
So
good. Who is your favorite Ben? Weird Robot asks. Tony says all Ben suck. Bitcoin Graffiti says Franklin. Yeah, it's a very funny thread. There's also a lot of great, insight from Tony in here too, and it's really like well worth reading. Like Tony thinks very, very thoroughly about privacy, probably more than most people I've met, and it's really cool.
he's the most private guy I know.
Yeah, he's pretty private. He keeps his lips sealed very well. Was trying to get for years. I was trying to get, or not for years, for a year. I was trying to get a lot of information about stuff he'd been working on, and he wouldn't spill it. Like, he's very good at that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, but I think I was able to check it out briefly yesterday, and I jumped in, um, and it was a lot of fun. I had a couple questions. I think there was one where you had asked him, what was it like joining different startups? That was a great question. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I had been talking to him earlier about startups, and kind of what he plans to do next, and kind of how he makes decisions about like where to work and stuff. Here we go. Here it is. How do you decide which Bitcoin startups to work for? What do the good ones get right, and what do the bad ones get wrong in your view? He said, I feel like my answer is mostly around the fact that I enjoy new challenges and working on new things. He said, most of the time I just stay for a year or two. This is actually really common in Silicon Valley. Like, the churn of employees is kind of quite high.
Why is that, Keanu?
I think it's because it is more exciting to just like join and have a new challenge. The other aspect of it is there are like financial incentives. It's usually easier to get a pay bump and like a title bump when you transition from company to company. Like, usually when you're at one company, it's quite a battle to get a significant raise, or to get increase in rank or whatever. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll like stay at a company for a year or two, transition to another one where the other company is more comfortable paying them more and giving them a new title. And that's kind of the way it works. I'm not sure that, it doesn't seem to be the reason why Tony's doing it. It seems like it's also related to like the work being new and challenging. But yeah, it's a very common pattern. And a lot of startups are like, they aren't very good to work for. They're like, they're like very young companies are quite dysfunctional. You're dealing with the personalities of the people that are running them a little more directly than you want to. You don't have so much shelter from HR and like a bunch of hierarchy of managers. Like, you're kind of there in the place, exposed and raw, and unless the founder is very good, or the company is very good, a lot of what's the reason to stay. I'm not talking about that specifically with Tony, but that is like another motivation that a lot of people have when they transition from company to company.
Yeah.
He said when he leaves, it's typically not the fault of the startup. There's some of the things I look for when joining a new one is that it's aligned with my own personal values, and if I think the work I'll be doing will be enjoyable, and I have the ownership of it. And that's also very common. A lot of programmers, like, the number one thing they want is autonomy, and they want to be able to like make their own decisions and feel like they have like a bit of creative latitude, which is like, not just programmers, it's like all creative people in general.
Yeah, for sure. Probably. 100%. I think, yeah, it was interesting that he said that about you had that comment about, leaving and stuff. I think for me, I've seen it now because we're doing Pleb Lab. It's kind of like a startup, and then I've also was like in an 18, 19 person kind of company that was still young when I got in there, and I felt like that was a sweet spot. I felt like in that teen range of employees, because then once we got to like 30 and then 40, it was just like, and then it just, I don't know, maybe there's a sweet spot there.
There is. I mean, at some point you have to grow regardless, just because there's like too many things to do. But yeah, there are like, everyone I think has their own like Goldilocks zone of like the size of company they like. Like, I have friends who like really large companies. I have friends who like kind of medium-sized ones. I gave a talk at UC Berkeley one time about like, if you're starting your career, like a good-sized company to start at, in particular, like if you're not like, if you don't want to be a founder in particular, it's probably like a medium-sized company.
Yeah.
You kind of get the best of both worlds, and then you also have a little more upside on your stock, like your stock grants, because the company is small. It probably still has quite a bit of room to grow. It's also probably fairly well developed, and has product market fit. and so you're not building something that no one wants, which is also rewarding. But yeah, there is like, it depends on the person. You know,
Yeah.
I obviously like small companies, but that's just
Yeah, I've worked for a bigger company, and that was just oof. You can just disappear in one of those. You don't even know you're working. It's like if you like doing that, it's not fun.
yeah. I have friends who work at big companies, and they work like 2 hours a day. Like they're just like, yeah, I just show up to my meetings, and then I like kind of do work.
Just show up to the all
And
hands and then just like take off. Did you see that guy that like had several jobs in 1 year? Did you see that? I think it
yeah,
was
I saw
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's that bad. Like, it's really hard to hold people accountable for creative work. You just don't know how much time they're spending.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, and like for programming jobs, if you're like at like a Google type company, Google is still, even though Google might have like a bunch of inefficient employees, Google is still making like $2 million per employee. Like that's like how
Oh yeah, you're
profitable they
right.
are. So they
Dang,
don't even need people to be working full time.
that's a good
So
point.
it's kind of crazy. That's just how software works. It's just like very efficient. You can make a lot of money
Yeah.
from very little work in some cases. Anyway, good AMA with Tony Giorgio. I'd really love him to lean in a little more to the Italianness of the NIM and like really see him. I don't know, like show up to Bitcoin meetups with pizza and stuff. But
Yeah, he
probably won't.
absolutely hates it when people call him that stuff. I just call him
Oh,
Tony.
really?
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Why
he
do you
hates
think
it.
he has a NIM that's like super Italian? His
It's
the
a reference to the actor from The
oh, is
Godfather.
that the photo he has? Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the actor was in The Godfather, but he was a big actor in his younger years.
Who is Tony? Yeah, I have to look this up now. Giorgio. Giorgio. Okay, actor, The Godfather.
Yeah,
This guy, really?
yeah. It's a
Grew
great
up in
movie.
Scandinavia.
I believe
Yeah,
the
The
first one.
Godfather's good,
First one was.
but who the heck is this character? I don't even remember this guy. He looks like vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah, I guess if he was bigger in his teens and 20s and all that stuff.
I thought the like the avatar Tony was using for it was maybe like a picture of his dad or something. I don't know.
No.
Okay, well that's.
I
Oh,
mean,
here we go.
we,
Yeah,
we
here's the
can't we can't
picture.
all use AI generated art like Brill Satan.
That's right. We don't have access to it. Technical advisor. Anyway, I'll do this rabbit hole later. But good AMA with Tony. The next top story is Sats Overflow, which is like Stack Overflow but with Sats.
So yeah, I saw the. I sorry to cut you off here, but I saw
Right.
the live stream for Lit Devs, because I wanted to, yeah, I miss my friends, and I was watching it, and then he came up on there, but it sounds like there was a lot of friction with that particular site. Like,
Yeah, I mean it's still very
have you
early.
played
He
with it?
said I talked to him briefly. I've talked to him several times. I don't know if he's sharing his name publicly or not. But he's built other projects in the space, and so him and I have had some conversations. And
You would be the
yeah,
guy to talk
he
to about
huh?
this. You're like the only guy to talk to about this in the lightning space. Like, how do you do this? And like, when I saw this, I was like, he should definitely talk to Keyan. Keyan's like probably the most knowledgeable about this type of framework, I guess. Um,
I mean,
you,
I have an approach to it that might be helpful to other people, and I think about it a certain way. But he has a differing point of view. Like I tried to share
uh,
with him like my thoughts on maybe what's going on with the product and maybe how to improve it, and he's like, no, I know. He's like, this is the way I think it should work.
Ah,
Specifically, he uses like darknet markets as like the reference point for his decision making with the like incentives and reputation structure and stuff. And got to respect someone having a strong point of view. Um, but it's pretty. I mean, it's So what he said it was very easy to spin up because I guess there are clones of Stack Overflow that are like available in open source. And he said he just tweaked it a little bit, added Lightning to it, and released it. It is closed source. I don't think he intends to open source it
mhm.
himself. But I don't. If people haven't seen how it works, is you can you register, you pay a small sat fee just to create an account. It's like 10 sats, and then you can ask questions. I think for free, um, and then what you then people can come and answer your question and put like a paywall on their answer.
Yeah, it's so
And
confusing, dude. It's like it's so confusing, so much friction. Like it's like, yeah, and that's because
yeah,
I think I understand it pretty well, but I guess not. Maybe not.
yeah, it's a bit. I mean, it is. I agree with you. That I mean, a lot of people in the comment thread. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. Like, yeah, 73 comments. A lot of people were just like, to really work, this needs the answers to be free. I'm not going to buy an answer I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Is just like the thing that people say over and over and over again. Brill said that over and over and over again at Lit Devs. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, but the founder believes the model will work. My opinion was like maybe you can maybe you can eventually have paywalls on answers, but cause so when you say something like I don't want to pay for an answer before I see it, what he says is, well, there will be reputation that suggests to you that the answer is good.
You can game
So
that though.
yeah, you can game that for one, and then the other thing is like just because I have high reputation doesn't mean all my answers are going to be good. Like, maybe I built up a great reputation on answering questions about Ethereum, but now I'm answering a Bitcoin question. Like, where does that factor in? But it's also very early, so it's hard to say. But my point to him was like, maybe you let the reputation system build, and then you let people paywall their answers like optionally.
Yeah. That's
Because
what I mean. That's what John did, right? So like John, used to have like a similar kind of model, and then as soon as he removed that barrier, then the people started coming into Zapright, right? And then you can always add that later, but yeah, you can't start with it if you're trying to get traction. It just you got to be open in the beginning.
yeah, it's tricky when these products are like when they like require a network effect to be really to like actually work and to be reliable. You kind of do want to remove any kind of barriers, but any product you want to reduce friction usually to people participating and using it.
I don't know. I think what you and Oscar, I always say this all the time. People are tired. I think what you and Oscar figured out early on was that yeah, just reduce as much friction as possible. It's already hard enough just to figure out Lightning. If you could just
Yeah.
remove all of that and just go straight to the product, and then you're just using a product like Stacker News where it's just like, oh, this works. Oh, and it's kind of cute when you hit the lightning bolt, and it's doesn't need to be more
Yeah.
difficult than that.
No, it should. Yeah, ideally, in particular for consumer products, it should be extremely straightforward. You should be nearly able to use the product without signing up. Like that's how I think it should be. So, I
Yeah.
mean, at Stacker News, you can consume content without having to sign up, which is nice. But yeah. Anyway, it's a very early product and cool to see. we knew someone who was working on a product called Sats Overflow, and they were a little like crestfallen over someone
Oh
using a
wait, there is
similar
already
domain.
another product like this?
Well, no, you know, Austin was working on a Sats Overflow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
cool.
working. That was his name and everything. He had that
Oh.
same name. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's cool to see more stuff like this out there, and I think it's a cool experiment, and I'm curious how the game theory will work out.
Yeah, I think,
Um,
yeah, if Austin's building one, then like, yeah, he can try all this other stuff that's not working here. Yeah, may the best product win.
yeah, may the best product win. All right, last top story of the week is Steve Lee from Spiral did the AMA. Steve Lee runs the open source Bitcoin initiative at Block, so he's like, and Spiral is probably, I think now they're like the biggest funder of open source Bitcoin, which is pretty cool. And he
That's
like heads
awesome.
up that whole initiative and like charts the direction, and probably has a big say on which products get chosen. But they're the they're the ones that are supporting LDK, BDK. What is this? This is like remote Lightning Signer. I forget what the V stands for though. The Bitcoin Design Community, the Bitcoin Design Guide, Stratum V2, which is like this like next generation mining pool software. Fediment, they were also supported that. So these guys are making a big impression on the community, and specifically like helping it in the direction that it's going. And so really cool to get Steve on. He also was a angel in Stacker News' seed round. But lots of great stuff in the thread. Some people gave him some like kind of a hard time about like not funding enough developers, and I found that it kind of grated on me a little bit to hear that, because they're doing more than anyone else, but then people are like complaining they're not doing enough, and it's like, come on, like it's not really fair. I mean, at the same time, I get it. Like, it's very frustrating when you hear someone say they're like funding all the all these people, and you're like, well, hey, what about me? What about my friends? What about? But it, you can't. No one's perfect, and I think Spiral is doing a great job overall.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and it makes you kind of wonder. And I know Gemini and Coinbase also, do some granting and stuff too. But some of these other big exchanges, it's kind of like, why aren't they doing any? You know, so
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, you can complain to Steve about Spiral, but you should, maybe a better place to complain to is all these exchanges that are, you know, uh, making all the staking validator money and
hmm
not funding many projects in the space. So
yeah, I would start there first.
yeah,
Even then, I don't think you should go out there like complaining about stuff like that. I think I'm more of a person who's like, put it in your own hands and like help your fellow developer in your town.
yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few more interesting questions in here. I mean, it's a good thread overall. Like, Steve is a very good like thinker on this kind of stuff, in particular like what the entire landscape looks like and what are the real problems. And so, but another question here is related to like how do I become an open source Bitcoin contributor when I need $200,000 a year to like support my lifestyle, which I've built up, making that money normally. And Steve says the Spiral grant is 100K, but you can get other grants too, and we'll support you getting other grants and perhaps make up the shortfall. But that's just in a way, there is unfortunately like still a price to becoming even with all these grants, there's still a price to becoming a Bitcoin developer. Not just like a monetary hit, but also you're now like you can be quite public. You might desire to be more anonymous over time as you become more and more involved. So it is a risk becoming a Bitcoin developer, and so but so it still is a mission driven thing, even though there is some money that you can make from doing it.
Yeah, I think the hard truth is like, yeah, a lot of Bitcoin developers don't get paid like they make way more money at like Google, you know. So it's like I think they're all aware of that, and I also think just like in the industry in itself, or I don't like saying that word, but like in the space in itself, like most Bitcoin companies, you know, I mean, just from what I've seen and heard, don't pay the most anyway. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, in a way, it's a nice filter. Like, not being able to make a crap ton of money building Bitcoin ensures that the people that are working on it really care about it and really think it's important. And you don't get people who are there just for the money, which is, oftentimes not the best kind of people. And so
Right.
that also applies at a startup. You want people who are invested in kind of, if your startup has a decent mission, invested in the mission, perhaps more equity-based compensation and more interested in the company succeeding than them like, temporarily financially enriching themselves. And I wonder if that's like a, part of what we see with some of these other projects is they have a little too much money,
Oh,
like in the,
100%.
and
Yeah,
they're
once
just,
they get to that Series A or Series B, it's like, yeah, man.
yeah, but
That's usually when you see this. That's usually when you start seeing the slowness to their churn, right? What they're churning out. Um, but when they're young and scrappy.
Yeah. There's another good question in here from Fiat Joff that I kind of found interesting. But he asks, because Steve has a background as like a high level, like a director at Google, so he's kind of very familiar with like efficiency of teams and things. And Fiat Joff asks, if one developer produces an output of 1 to 2 develop. If one developer produces an output of 1, 2 developers produce how much output? 1.9. Like, it's not exactly double the output if you add another engineer. It actually reduces. And how about if you add 30 developers to a project? How much output do you get then? And Steve kind of responds with this Mythical Man Month Wikipedia link eventually, and it kind of describes like software engineering at a kind of project management level, and it doesn't look, it's not great. Adding software engineers often creates quite a few problems. It doesn't just like increase output. Like the founders that I talked to, I responded to Fiat Joff too at some point, but the founders that I talked to say when they go from 1 dev to 2, it's not you don't have 2x output, now you have 1.5x output, so you only have like a 50% increase in your productivity.
Interesting.
And it actually, as you add more and more, everyone becomes a little less efficient at getting work out there.
Just because of the autonomy that's not there anymore, or is because of the coordination of
the coordination? Like you were talking about it, how you were saying your company went from like 18 to 20 to 30.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like a bunch of communication now, and like now to like make things more efficient, people are like politicking, and
yeah, you're right. Yeah, gosh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
gosh,
very common.
Humans, fascinating.
Humans are fascinating. But those are the top posts of the week. Car said last week he really likes seeing the top stackers. Tony Giorgio, he stacked 64,000. Moneyball stacked 42. Kevin stacked 22K.
Dude, CryptoCoin, I keep seeing a lot of his posts. Yeah, he's killing it. CryptoCoin and Darthcoin, the regular stackers. Yeah, they're doing a great job of sourcing. I see so many great posts coming from those two guys constantly. Now too as well. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Good guys. We could look at the analytics a little tiny bit here. Yeah. So here's the analytics. I don't know. I almost want to cut the segment because I don't. or maybe like display it better. Like I have to like go in here and
It's
be
fine.
like, this is how many tips went in. This is boosts are getting kind of nice and sizable, which is cool. We had 110,000 sats in total boosts. It's like rivaling jobs. There's like no jobs right now, but that's it's almost comparable to jobs.
So I found out the inside scoop on why Pomp is not doing the jobs.
What's the inside scoop?
Apparently, remember we thought that he had sold it. He didn't sell it. He didn't sell the school. No.
The job board thingy.
Remember how he used to have that little job board thing for the school or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would throw a lot of sats to stackers. Yeah. It's still around. It's just he's just not on Stacker News.
I see.
Yeah. Come back, Pomp. Come back.
How dare it?
Give
us your money, Pomp. Yeah, I think I saw in in his newsletter or something he was like ramping up some arm of the Pomp Empire where
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's like hiring for their like corporate education, or I actually forget what it was, but
have you ever met him before?
No.
No. I've never met him before either.
I think he's like too rich. I think he needs to. He probably he like jumps from penthouse to penthouse. Like he's never like on the ground. You know?
No, I'm sure he's a great guy. I haven't met him, but I just like know people that work for him, and it's always like you hear stories. But I'm sure he's a great guy though.
Yeah, he probably is. Do we have any boosts?
Yeah. Actually, we do. So looks like our. Hang on, let me go here. So yeah, we had one user. We had one user 995. Yeah, it's too long. He said uninstalling Fountain. I don't know why he didn't leave anything. But then right after that, he goes, but more sats for Stacker News. He boosted us a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah, so come back to Fountain. We like you there. Yeah. And then we had Blockchain Book. He's like our main fan. He goes. Regular. He said, "Super, that trickster!" Exclamation point. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Did people really not know it was Super all along?
So I was looking through my DMs. Apparently, like Justin messaged me too and was like, "Do you know who Bro Satan is, or who made Enigma?" And I was like, I don't know how to answer this." So I think people were like really surprised it was him. It was like the end of a Scooby Doo episode where he like pulls off the cape.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
I saw him on the Lit Dev stream and he was like, what did he say? It was so hilarious, dude. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. He's a character, and so is Brill. But
who knows? But yeah, that's all we got for today. Keyan, you got anything else?
I do not have anything else. I hope you have a great time in Austin, and I hope all the stackers out there stack a bunch of sat.
I forgot to tell you, I saw one person with a Stacker News hat here.
Who?
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. We were doing the panel at the time. We were talking, so I'll find him. If he's still wearing the hat, I'll find him and find out who he is. But he had a yellow hat, and I was like, wait, is that Keyan? No, it wasn't you. It was some other stacker. Spreading.
Ooh, I mean, there are only like 20 of those. Not even 20. There's probably like 10 hats out there in the wild right now.
He's one of the 10.
Wow.
Where can people get the Stacker News hats?
They can just like DM me on Twitter if they want them. They're yellow. A lot of people are like, I do not want a yellow hat. I'm sorry. Do you have a black one?
It looks good. It looks really good, especially like
some people can't pull it off though. They're like
so he had like different type of hair than both of us, and it looked great. It looked great.
I think it's more like like some people have a very subdued style and feel weird about wearing colors. So
interesting.
It's not for everyone, but if you want one, I still have right here on my desk. I have 4 of them left.
Will you hand ship it yourself too and everything? I hand ship it.
I spray my perfume in it so you can know what I smell like, and but yeah, it's I charge a cost, so it's like $18. You pay in Bitcoin, but it's like $18 plus like usually $10 shipping. So
yeah,
let me know.
We had level 99 slacker in the comments. He says, I still don't know how to work a fax machine. Yeah, no one knows how to work a fax machine.
Yeah, according to Car, people haven't been using fax machines for 20 years, but
It's all a
we still
psyop.
send stuff. Oh, it's all a psyop.
That's all a psyop. All right, Stackers, we'll see you next week. See you next week on Stacker News Live.
Bye, everyone. Zap.